Welcome back to our training after our break. I'll just start with some polls, some questions I have about our training. Are you able to see my polls? I got some answers. Two of the people have participated. The questions are, does SYN require hardware device and internet connection to the configure, either true or false? And then second question, what we can say is, the access port type carries one VLAN and untracked traffic, true or false? You can see a lot of answers coming in here. What is the distance of long distance transmission PoE? 250 or 300? What is the loop prevention method used? RLDP or VRIP? So I have some, I can give some 1 minute. Then after that, we end this poll and then we'll start our training session. Out of 64, 19 has participated. I think some of the people are went for break. I think they didn't come for it. So the poll ends in within a minute. So if you have any questions, you can ask in the chat window. We have experts who can answer your questions. Okay, now we can end our poll. I'll share my screen again. So automatic identification, as I mentioned, you can see that information on your cloud. I can show some video. So the automatic identification, how we can check it, we can get it from the NBS series or ES series switches in your network. When you connect to the IPC to any of the switches, it will automatically get the traffic. Based on the traffic, it will automatically identify the IP-based cameras. So what you need to do is you have to wait for 20 minutes. If you don't have NVR, you have to wait for 20 minutes and log into the cloud and check the topology, whether you have the CCTV, IP-based CCTVs there in your network or not. For the 20 minutes, you should have a non-stop IP CCTV traffic. Okay, so you have to pay attention for that. To identification of the cameras in your cloud, you should have a 20 minutes non-stop traffic. Within that 20 minutes can identify, because the identification based on the MAC OUI of the manufacturer. Some brands can be within a minute you can identify, but maximum what we suggest is wait for 20 minutes. So I will show you the topology now for the CCTV. See, this is our CCTV topology. So you can see there is a traffic happened because already I created this, I connected to this camera. Already the traffic has happened and identified the camera. The camera, what I have is identified with the port number, because since I connected to the ESC switches, it identifies it. Okay. And the identification through NVR. So how the identification will be happen through with NVR? Because you have hundreds and hundreds of cameras, you need to have an NVR to centrally manage it, right? So you can use NVR with our Reyee Cloud. You can manage it. So we have built-in HTTP client. You have built-in HTTP client. Okay, then the Reyee Cloud connect to the NVR with the remote tunnel. And our Reyee Cloud fetch the information from the NVR, but you have to log into the NVR from our Reyee Cloud through a remote tunnel, and it will get all the information required to collect the CCTV information through NVR. The NVR identification algorithm works on this way. First, in your network in your project, the devices support the tunnels first on the network, and then the device can ping the NVR at the layer 3 level. Because we have devices, and then the device has to ping the NVR at the L3 level. If there is no connectivity and there is no possibility for the Reyee Cloud to get the NVR information and CCTV information, so you have to please pay attention on that. It has to be accessible. And the NVR information, what you're going to give to the cloud is the user IP address, what is a vendor, what is a model, and the username and password of the NVR from our Reyee Cloud. So to provide this information, our cloud will fetch all the information required, collect the data of the NVR. So to trigger this method, what are the information should be? The Reyee Cloud will proactively obtain the IP camera information from the NVR. And also it display the time, all the information. Even if you add the new cameras, it will proactively fetch the information by one of the triggering method, either through the API to manually trigger the upgrade, or you can get from the NVR by logging into your network through the NVR. So I give some video about the NVR. So what you need to do is you need to add the NVR first. From the client list, you add the NVR. So in the add NVR, as I said, you have to agree these points as a user agreement, and then you give the IP address of the NVR, and then you can give the vendor name, because currently we support Hikvision, Aldahua, Tiandi, Univiv, Huawei, and Epcom, and give the username of the NVR. But you have to give the username and password, correct password. The name is optional, but this is for our management purpose, and select the switch, which switch is connected to. And make sure that your password is right. Because sometimes we miss the password and you will not get the information. Once get that, you can see, refresh the page, then you see our cloud is connected to NVR. And then you can see it collects some information and fetches the cameras. See here, you can see some cameras, and then after refresh, it will give all the information of the cameras with the channel number, channel ID, what is the IP address of the camera, and what is the speed, uplink download speed, what is the status, whether it is online or offline or not. You can see from here, in client list, I can see Relab. You can see the cameras. From the smart line, you can see the online. Okay, I don't have an NVR. I have only the camera. So you can see the status online, the MAC address. You can see the information here, which port is connected, which switch is connected, right? Next one is internet access. So internet access is a very good feature here. Why I'm saying it is a very good feature. Normally, if you don't have this internet, what suppose you do? You have to create a port mapping to your cameras, right? If someone want to access the camera from outside of your network, suppose you are out of your site, out of the building property, and then you have to access the camera. What you need to do, you need to create a DDNS, you need to create a port mapping to the devices, port mapping to the NVR, port mapping to the cameras. It's a very difficult process, right? But our solution gives to get access to your camera from your cloud as an internet access. So how you can configure the internet access? You can go to network wire. Moment, please. You can create a tunnel. If you go to the devices, internet access, you can create a tunnel. So you have a lot of options to create it. You can give the name of the camera. You can have NVR, you have camera, select the camera, give the name of the camera, and put the IP address of it. You should know the IP address, how you will find the IP address of the camera. You can get to the DHCP server and identify what is a IP address. Or you can get from the clients, smart clients, you can get what is the IP address of the camera. Or you can go to the topology and identify which port it is connected. Which port is connected, you can identify here. So go to the internet access, do the HTTP or HTTPS connection, provide the IP address of the camera, and then enable it. So already I connected the camera and I created internet access. So what I need to do is I can open it to the browser. You can see the camera. See, you can see the camera here already. The camera, what I'm having, you can see this. You can view it readily, right? So this is how you can see the internet access to the camera. You can monitor from anywhere in the world. You can monitor through our cloud. This is how the internet access service will work. So the next one is the real-time failure notification. When you have the camera is failed in first place, what you can do, you'll get an alarm. And we have a feature called, you can restart your camera if you have alarm faulty, because most of the faulty camera, most of the fault of the camera is like when you restart it, it will start working, right? So you can restart through it by seeing the alarm, and then you can click the restart camera. That option I will show it in the coming slides. You don't need to be on site. So if it is critically down, you can go to the site, but if one or two cameras are offline, you have to pay a taxi fare, right? And then you have to reach time, money, everything will be involved, right? So you can do it from your mobile application, or you can do it from the web, anywhere in the world, to restart your camera. You will see the notification, this kind of notification from your application. You can see the new version message, you can see the message, and you can see the IP camera is offline or not, and when is offline, right? And then you can even tell you which port it is connected. You don't need to go and identify it. It shows which port you need to identify. You can go directly to the port, and then you can reboot the camera. You can see the differences here. All are green, and you can see the difference in orange, and then you come to know, okay, this port is connected to this camera. You can identify it. So you can reboot the camera. The camera can be faulty based on many functions. Either the cable may be faulty, or the camera we need to remove. Maybe the POE is not sufficient for the camera. Maybe sometimes it shows a low power. You can do it. Okay, so I will show from the APP how you can do this function. So this is our this is our lab, lab. You can see from here, you can go to the switch. Once alarm has completed, you can see how you can restart the PC, IPC. Because I know this is connected, this switch is connected to the camera. The port number 1 is connected to the camera. If you see here, the port number, you can see the camera light on it, right? And then if I scroll down, you can see the 100 meg, because all the cameras are with 100 meg with the power, POE, how much watt. And then you have the option to restart. How you can do option to restart? Select this port. So you can see you have cable test. If any issues, if you feel that the cable having an issue, you can select the cable test and it will give the information what is the issue. Or you can do a restart. Restart your camera here. So if you restart the camera, it will ask the question whether I want to reboot the POE of interface 1. You can press OK. So I canceled it. I want to show some more information. This is how you can do it. And long distance POE, how you enable the long distance POE? You can see the long distance option in the configuration page. You can enable the long distance POE. Click it. Since you know the port number 1 is connected to the camera, select the camera. So it's selected. Others are grayed out. Save it. Then it will load. The most important here is you don't need to enable long distance POE for all of your switch. You can do by port, because in a switch, in some places you have 5 cameras. Out of 5, only 2 will be connected more than 100 meters. You can select only those 2 ports. You don't need to select all the ports to enable the long distance POE. So this is a very important point. Whichever camera is more than 100 meters, you can select. You can see the difference here. Earlier it was 100 M, that is megabyte. Now it's 10 megabyte. As you know, the cableless cable, the limitation is you will get 1 Gbps speed and up to 100 meters. If it is exceeding more than 100 meters, the speed will be reduced. The distance increases, the speed reduces. So if it is 250 meters, your camera, your cable will work with 10 Mbps, right? The distance increases, the speed decreases. This is the principle. I'm going back since I don't need long distance POE. I disconnect from there. I select the port number 1 and save the configuration. So now see 100. You see that 100 meg again. So this is how you can enable and disable the long distance POE, how you can restart it, how you can do a cable test. So we saw about the long distance power supply and how it is generated. The next one is the loop prevention, because somehow we are more vigilant to our network. We will make sure that we should not have any loop in your network, but there's a chance that our network will be connected by someone with wire and then cable, and then gets loop, right? So we use a technology called RLDP technology. We have RLDP to do detect a loop detection function. RLDP is mainly used on access switches, or even you can use it in the distribution layer as well. Not only to the access layer, you can use as a distribution layer. And since we have an anti-loop function, okay, there are some point the STP will not detect your loop. For example, let's say these two examples, these scenarios, where you have a switch and then you have a hub, and then there is a loop in your hub, the STP will not detect it because it's self-loop through the hub. It's not on the switch, but our RLDP will detect it. And you have a loop in your access switch within the loop, the same switch, then our RLDP will work massively. Perfectly, it will work, and then it will detect the loop. It shut down one of the port. We have two ports here, right? It will shut one of the port. We are not sure that which port will detect, but based on the algorithm, the RLDP will detect the loop and then prevent the loop and detect the loop, and then make that the port should be shut down. Okay, so I'll give some demo about the RLDP function, loop prevention function. I will start I'll just disconnect this. I open my camera. Hope everyone sees this. So I created this environment. First, before that, we need to enable the loop prevention technique. I will go to, I'll go here, and then I will do the configuration first, loop prevention configuration first. Go to the network wide in configuration, click the loop prevention, enable the configuration first. If you enable the configuration, there are two options you will get. One is the recommended, and one is customization. So what is recommended? It will enable on all access switch in the project. Customization, you can manually select it which and how many switches you need to put it. So I selected this switch for the configuration. You can, if you see the highlighted here, all. If you custom, I can see only this. So I already enable it here. I do it on all the switches. I deliver the configuration. Delivery is successful now. So the loop is enabled on. So if you see here, the loop is enabled. Loop prevention is enabled on these two switches. I have two switches, it's enabled. Now I start the loop prevention. I have port, these ES series switches. I have port number 3 and port number 4 connected. I induce the loop. See, you can see there are some lights has flashing and vanished after some time. Right? So once you enable this loop, you will get alarm. You can go to alarm. See here, you can see the alarm here. Switch loop. So you can identify it based on the device serial number and go to that particular location. You want to find which switch is that, you can go here. View topology, serial number, the serial number I match it. I found that there is a switch loop. I go to that location. I just remove the loop. So this is how your loop prevention will work, loop detection with loop prevention option. Hope everyone get this information, how you can prevent the loop by having the loop prevention feature. So how the IPC will be automatically online? So once the IP camera is powered on, wait for 20 minutes, as I said before. If it is NVR, wait for 30 minutes and check whether our Reyee cloud identified. How the Reyee cloud will identify? You can see the traffic on the ports. You can see the traffic on the ports. I can show you that as well. You can see the traffic here. Or you can go and select the switch. You can select the second switch where my CCTV is connected. This is CCTV is connected. 1 minute, please. You can select from here. This is a port number 1 is connected. You can see the interference rate. You can select this option. You can see the traffic generated here. So you should have at least 20 minutes of this traffic. Once it identified, there is no problem. Okay, you see some of the traffic has gone. It should be continuously for 20 minutes or 30 minutes. So once you're connected to it, the switch port should be normal. Like usually 100 meg is a port, and it should be stable. The traffic should be stable. And most important point, either you should use a NBS or ES series switch to automatically identify the IPC. It will assist our Reyee cloud to detect the IPC automatically and get the traffic from these two series of switches. If it is NVR is deployed, you should have an IP address. I shown to you before, you have an IP address username on it, and then you should be able to access the NVR. And the devices should support in the project the tunnels. So if you see the IPC is offline, based on a real topology, you can locate the switch, connect to the IPC, whether it is offline. And also you can see from the alarm. From the alarm, you can see whether which port and which switch is connected, that particular IPC is offline. So previous slide, I showed you that how it is offline. Because offline can be maybe of many ways. One is maybe the cable may be fault, maybe loose RJ45 jack, or you suppose because in many big projects they use patch panels to arrange your cables, right? Maybe a patch panel connecting to the switch port may be faulty. The patch cards, what we call, may be faulty. All the cable running through and laying through to the end of the camera may be faulty. Or the cable may be broken. Or the IPC itself, it's broken, it's faulty. Or sometimes, you may need to reset it and then it will start to work, reset from the IPC itself. So this is depend on the physicality of the environment. And then once you identify it, once you fix it, or you can log into the switch and view the port details. If you are seeing 100 Mbps, and if you're seeing only 10 Mbps connection, even though you will not enable the long distance PoE, you can see what is the issue with the port. If the cable is broken or cable having some issues in the connectivity, your speed also changed from 100 meg to 10 meg, right? Even though if you didn't enable the long distance PoE, this is a chance your cable can have this issue connected to the port. And then if you see the port status is down, sometimes, in a project, you allocate this particular port for a non-PoE devices. Maybe you connected somehow, your assistant may connect to the non-PoE port. Like PoE is there, but you disabled it, and then non-PoE is been activated, and then you connect it somehow. Check whether it is there, PoE state is enabled or not. So enable the PoE. These are the conditions when the IPC is offline. And then once you check it, and then quality of the cable is checked, everything is checked. Maybe the time the IPC is offline. And if you see the PoE status and the port status is normal, 100 meg, and PoE is giving enough power to your IPC camera. But still the IPC is offline. As I said, the most of your problem of camera when you restart it, if the camera is hang or offline, you can restart the port, PoE port. You can do it from our app or any from the cloud web. Anywhere in the world, you can do it from there, right? Restart the PoE port, and then it will solve most of the issues. Even if the port is restarted, wait for some time. Check whether it is going offline. Check whether it is going online. If you see the IPC is online, then there is no issue with our network, switches, or any of the cable. Because you can check the quality of the cable based on some third-party meters. You can use Fluke or some of the meters, you can identify the quality of the cable, right? So if you check everything is proper and fine, then the most problem with the IPC, whether it is broken or maybe some issues in the cable, the IPC camera inside of it. So IPC configuration, offline configuration, how it is, you can do it, how you can verify it. There are some videos here, you can go with it. You can see the real topology where your IPC is there. So you can see the port number 5 is offline. If you see the offline, and you can identify it. There's an orange color. If you see others are in. You can get the alarm, you can check the alarm. So the alarm's generated based on the pole, and then you select the project, and then you see what is the alarm, right? Which time it is offline, what is the update, what we need to do. If you select the actions, you can see the camera with the port number. So since you know the port number, go to this particular project, select the switches, select that based on the serial number, go for the PoE, check first the PoE. You can see the class whether the PoE is okay because it's giving enough power. So if you see everything is okay, the auto negotiation, speed, duplex, VLAN configuration, check the cable, if you're required, check the port status, whether it is giving enough traffic. See the traffic also fine. So this is how you can identify whether the issue comes from where, whether IPC or from the network. See the port number 5 is giving enough power. So once you determine that all are okay by diagnostics, then you can determine the issue comes from where. And next one is if you're not unable to access the intranet server, right? Is one of the cool features I said. Check whether the IP address and port are proper configuration, because maybe you may have a wrong IP address and wrong port information of your device. If you do the wrong IP address, then it will not form a tunnel between the cloud and that particular device. And before doing that, first make sure you are able to log in to the system locally, so that you can identify whether the issue is there or not for the internet access. And make sure that that server can access the internet, because otherwise you can't do the internet service from your cloud to that device. And As I said before, access directly. If you can able to access directly, then it's not an issue. And get the internet, and IP address should be the proper IP address, correct IP address and port number. And you need to make sure we have some limitations that we can create up to 10 tunnels for each project, right? If you create more tunnels, okay, then you're not able to do it. So if you need to create more tunnels, what you can do, whichever tunnels you are not using, close it. How you can do it, you can close, because the tunnel will expire from, once you create it, expire after 3 hours. So how you can close it? You can go to this project, go to the devices. See this one, this is for the camera. This is a camera, right? You can just click the disable button. Then you can disable the connectivity. So if I click disable, if I go to this, see it's already stuck. It's already I created internet server, right? And then go and verify from here also. Internet access. See, it's already disabled. Okay, so this is how you can disable. This is how you can disable it and enable for more tunnel access. The next one is we have a delivery of the reports. Once you complete your project, right? Your owner or business owner or the property owner, they want to know about the project report after delivery, right? So we can generate the report, project report from our Reyee cloud. So you can, from our Reyee cloud, you can customize some information. You can give the overview of the project, you can change the logo of the project, you can give some introduction about the project and what are the devices in the project. There are so many information we can do from the PDF. You can do it from the PDF or Word format. You can submit to our Word cloud, the owner of the project, like maybe business owner. So how we can do those information? Whenever you do a project, whenever you complete the project, okay, first update your topology before generating a report. So once you update the topology, the new devices what you add may be reflected here. Once update is over, go to delivery center, project report. So it starts generating the report. You can edit the report. Some of the information you can able to edit it. You can edit the project details, upload the image of the project, who is the tenant. Okay, you can change the delivery date, project description, etc. And then you can preview the project or you can download the project, either in the PDF format or Word format. So if you download the project in PDF format, you can see here all the information. The topology, the configuration, what is the VLAN we created, what is a wired network, what is a wireless network, what is a prevention, loop prevention, and what are the devices involved. So all the information you can get, you can forward this information to your owner of the building or the project owner where you are giving the service to them. So in this last 10 minutes, we can see about the FAQ questions. So I can expect some answers. If you have any questions, you can put it in a chat window. Then our experts can help you with answers. So what should I do if I want to add the NVR to the topology? It's very simple. First, you need to add the NVR to the cloud. You have to give the IP address, and then you have to give the username and password. to the cloud and make sure the NVR is available or not. So these are the main steps when you're having NVR in your topology. There are so many people having a question, which manufacturer of NVR can be added to the cloud? So currently we support Hikvision, Dahua, Tiandi, Univ, and Huawei. These are the information can be added into the Reyee cloud. I can show you when you add the Reyee cloud. In the previous slides, I showed you like what are the information you can add it on the NVR. Or you can show from the real topology. Quickly I can show here. You click add here. You agree first, select the vendors. Hikvision, Dahua, TNT, Univ, Huawei, and Netcom. These are things that direct. You can able to do it. Add it. So what information of the NVR can be displayed on the cloud? You can see the status. You can see the status of the NVR, whether it's online or offline. What is the IP address NVR? Which vendor you're using? Out of this 5, which vendor they are using? And what is switch port connected to it? And how many cameras are connected to the NVR? And what is the update time? Those are the information will be fetched from the NVR and then displayed on the Reyee cloud. So what are the informations you see from the IPC, the IP-based camera? You can see the speed. You can see the MAC address. I showed you the speed, how you can see the speed of the NVR, right? And then which switch is managed, whether NBS switch or ES series switch. It gives the serial number of the switch. And there are so many vendors we support for the IPC because it's based on the traffic of the switch ports. Because our camera will be detected automatically with the ES series switches or NBS series switches, with minimum 20 to 30 meter of stable flow of the traffic to our Reyee cloud. And second method, we can get the camera information based on NVR because NVR is the management of the IPC cameras. You can access from there. You can form a tunnel and then you can get all the information of the NVR and camera. So the manufacturers, the question, what I said is like based on the port traffic, it will detect it automatically. So it means we support all the cameras, all the manufacturer of camera, not only Hikvision. Because there are some cameras that will be identified quickly based on the manufacturer OUI, the MAC address OUI. So we can easily find out based on that. Now Reyee cloud we did based on the MAC OUI. So you can see the information on the camera. So if you see Hikvision, Dahua, these are the MAC OUI already in the Reyee cloud. It will automatically detect it quickly, even if you use different brand. Because I'm using a different brand called Axis, it detected. So as I said, you can see the information displayed on the NVR can be a MAC address, switch port with uplink and downlink speed on the Reyee cloud. So which switch mode can we use? We use either ES series switches or NBS series switches to recognize the IP camera automatically. So this one, I can show you what camera I'm using it. So you can clear out doubts whether it works on particular camera or not. In IPC, can go to the see here, since there is no traffic wired, I can show you the access camera. See, the access camera is written over here, irrespective of the brand, based on the traffic. Since I disconnected the remote connection, so you can't see the rate, but you can see the access camera. Or I can show from here. Irrespective of brand, it will detect based on the traffic, not based on the manufacturer. So it supports all the cameras. So now we already came to the final stage of the training. So if you have any questions, you can write it in the chat box. Our expert will give the information, bring you the questions. It will be answered. And now I hand it over to this end of our training session. I will hand it over to Alex. He can